Hey, it's episode 5 of Bonfire Man. Let's just call it that, Bonfire Man. Okay, here's how Bonfire Man works. I'm locked to specific chunks in the game. I have to interact with everything in my unlocked chunks exactly once. So that means every tree needs to be chopped, every enemy needs to die, every resource needs to be consumed. When I interact with something, it is exhausted. When something is exhausted, I'm not allowed to interact with it again. I'm allowed to randomly unlock a new chunk whenever all of the entities in my current chunks have been exhausted. When I enter a new chunk, I rest at a bonfire, as in the Souls games. Resting at a bonfire unexhausts all of the content in previous chunks that I've already been to. Now I have to exhaust all entities in both the new and old chunks to continue to progress. My objective is to unlock every chunk in RuneScape eventually. All minor rules and exceptions can be found in a Google Doc that I'll link in the description of this video. Let's go ahead and get to the playthrough. Right, so the most recent chunk unlock can be seen off in the distance in Al-Kharid. Alright, we're here at the chunk boundary. Imagine the cool fog wall again here. Cross through it. There it goes. Alright, and then let's rest at the bonfire in order to respawn everything in the areas we've already been to, like those goblins walking around, which interestingly already have had their red effect removed. Alright, we can't sit, so let's spin at the bonfire, and the world respawns behind us. We can chop all these trees and kill all these goblins again. Okay, Al-Kharid, this actually is an extremely boring chunk, more so than I even realized before. But I'm going to go ahead and pay the 10 GP to get in there. Precious 10 GP. And I think I'm going to try to do everything in there while I can so that the 10 GP doesn't go to waste. Just to summarize the task list here, we have 2 men to kill, a single rat. We can pickpocket those 2 men. I guess I could buy silk. My rule is I only get to buy out the stock or interact with the stock of a shop a single time, but silk is technically an infinite stock, so do I just get to do that once per cycle? I don't know. I'm going to do it once per cycle for now, though. There's a cactus patch we can weed and 6 trees to farm, and that's it. Everything else in this chunk is pretty useless. I'm going to go ahead and mark the new unlockables here. I really hope we don't roll the dual arena. There's nothing there, but I'll have to redo every other chunk immediately after unlocking it. The main reason this is an exciting unlock is because it gets us closer to Al-Kharid proper, which actually is an exciting unlock. I guess I'm going to look around. Obviously the fire altar is over here, but not a lot we can do with it right now. And I have to find the 2 men that I have to kill. Okay, here are the 2 men, which I guess is we now have access to slightly more thieving XP than we previously did. Other guy likes to walk off the chunk boundary, so hopefully he comes back here. 9 mind runes, that's not a bad drop actually. I'm not here to complain about that. Looks like a 3rd man actually wanders into this chunk. So the 2 is the minimum because I think 2 is the number that actually spawns in this chunk, but I might be able to get as many as 5, it looks like. Alright, so it ended up being a total of 5 men that are across the boundary at some point. I was able to pickpocket and kill all of them. So you can see I've got 5 bones, 5 pouches. I guess I'll buy some silk, and then I'll go farm this patch, and then we're done with the most recent chunk. Oh, I have to chop 6 trees apparently too. I have to double check where those are. Actually, I have no idea. Alright, bought some silk for 3 GP, which I guess I can resell for a profit. Alright, raking content, here we go. Mark that done. We're already basically done with the junk. I gotta track down these trees that I can chop. I don't know what that's actually referring to. I have 3 patches to rake now, once per cycle each. So that's not very good, but it might get us a couple levels. Okay, the trees from this patch are all on the other side of the gate. Gotcha. That's Al-Kharid, folks. Let's roll the credits on the episode. I think that this episode is boring enough. Like, I have to go back and do everything I've already done, but you've seen me do that a million times. So we'll do 2 chunk rolls this episode. I'm going to do the opposite of last episode. I'm going to start by doing everything that's not combat related because I got up pretty early this morning and it's close to patch time on a Wednesday. So I want to try to do all the stuff that's not going to matter in the loot logger. All right, those are my 6 trees chopped, and Al-Kharid's done. That was quick. Yeah, next objective, trees everywhere. I guess I'll start in Lumbridge. This is actually somewhat nice because the goblins love to walk over this chunk boundary, and I just had to wait down here for them to get back, and now that's not going to be a problem anymore. A regular bird nest with a normal ring in it, which is required for a beginner and an easy clue step, so it's not all bad. All right, since I'm not killing anything here, so I need to save my NPC markers, I'm going to experiment with the PvP world for banking. And I guess if I'm careful about this, the only thing I'll be risking are the logs that I'm carrying with me. Hit 33 wood cutting. The march to 60 goes on. It's going to be several cycles before we get anywhere close to it. Finished gathering these potatoes. It's a long walk to bank them, but it's really not too bad, especially with the PvP world bank chest out front. I think I'm mostly done here. I think all the trees are done, the willows are done, oaks are done. Oh yeah, I need to milk those cows. Alright, server restarts in 39 seconds. Hopefully I can finish raking this patch. The timing's going to work out pretty well. Again, I'm going to lose everything in my session data, this bird nest and these 10 men from Al-Kharid, but I'll show you the loot tracker for everything else. Okay, I'm not going to be able to finish raking this before the system updates, so I'll just wait. There we go. All right, I'll be back. Okay, maintenance is over. I'm going to finish getting 2 more weeds from this patch, since it looks like it regrew during the server downtime. I'm going to continue chopping trees and stuff, and then we'll start slaying. I did hit farming 2 just now, though, so cool. Medium clue nest, which I think is impossible, but I'll check it. Dig site, nope. Here's woodcutting 34. Just hit woodcutting 35. Don't think I care about any level ups until 60. Maybe we'll get a chunk where I care about another level. I always like to come off pause to show this off because it looks amazing, but I think I've chopped all the trees. I'm going to go get my combat gear and start killing stuff. All right, I have my inventory set up over here, but I think I'm going to avoid bringing anything other than the battle axe for enemies that I know are no threat, like the goblins and rats and stuff in Lumbridge, just to conserve run energy a little bit. All right, we'll come off mute for imp kills because they're really hyped now, since I didn't roll the windmill chunk. 1 in 64 chance for a pot of flour, come on. Although I think the pot of flour is less exciting because I might actually have access to a range now. Okay, I did not get one. I think I might have a range. Yeah, there's just barely a cooking range in Al-Kharid. Okay, so I can technically cook potatoes now, but the problem, of course, is that I have to cross that gate and bring an inventory of potatoes with me every time because I don't have access to the bank there yet. So I'm still going to hold off on that and hope that I unlock Cook's Assistant first. Well, I just hit prayer 10 while I was walking towards the goblins and burying my bones from men there. Very soon I will be able to fight those ham guards without dying constantly. I'm going to wait till I can make baked potatoes, which is going to require me to either get the Al-Kharid chunk with the bank, so that using that range is reasonable, or getting a pot of flour somehow. There's 33 strength while I was talking. 1 more strength level for a max hit. Got a beginner clue scroll from the farmer up here. West of the Champions Guild. A farmer drop a seed dipper, which I can buy those from the farming guy right next to the tulip con, but still that's neat. I guess I don't have to pay for one now. So I was totally wrong about seed patches and hops in particular. For some reason I was under the impression that hops didn't start until like level 20, but you can do barley at level 3 farming, which I'm going to get from raking patches without too much trouble. It'll probably be several more cycles before it happens. I can't actually get barley seeds until we're in the Drainer Village chunk, and then the shop there only has 20 in stock, so that's the max I'd ever be able to buy. But that might still jumpstart farming a little bit, so we can pray. Just hit strength 34, which is my new max hit. Struggling to find this imp. Finally found it. Alright, pray for a pot of flour. Or a bead color that I don't have, but preferably the pot of flour. Come on. Chicken. I'm telling you, the more I do this and the more adjacent chunks I get, the more precise the counts are. That's exactly 77 goblins. I was like missing 1 goblin. It was driving me nuts. But I found it. Alright, so there's a second imp that's supposed to spawn in the cow chunk that I still haven't seen. And I'm worried that the world I'm on, it just happened to get caught somewhere in a different chunk, because they can wander pretty far. Yesterday I got 2 extra imps because they happened to wander in I think there's one up in a wheat field north of here, and then maybe the one in the Al-Kharid mine is able to jump the fence, because I got one that was like right near the fence over in this chunk over here. So I might hop here to see if I can find the imp. It's supposed to spawn right around here. I definitely don't see it anywhere. Next hop, I found it. All right, come on. Give me warped. God damn it. Shouldn't I just tagged it too. Well, I'll know which one it is when I do see it, so I'll keep hopping here. Got it? Maybe? Let's see. Come on, fight. Okay. Nice hit for a 7 there. I think it's my first time seeing the 7. Come on, big money, give me a flower pot. That's a ball of wool. Ooh. Alright, so my combat tasks everywhere are done, except for the swamp and the ham guards and that one unicorn. So I'm going to go do those now, and we just have a little bit of cleanup from there, and we'll roll the next chunk. I haven't made balls of wool in a while. I'll get some crafting XP real quick. I'm going to turn the rest of my wool into balls of wool later. Just hit 35 strength in the middle of fighting a frog, but 2 more levels to go, and then I can switch to attack. Just got Prayer 13, which is a neat level because superhuman strength, yeah, which doesn't get me a max hit right now, but might in 1 more level. So there's all my big frogs. Got 14 big frogs, 28 regular frogs, 7 giant frogs, because 2 dip their heads into this chunk. So if you're interested, I was actually able to do the math here on thieving XP, how much has come from picking this trapdoor and how much has come from actually picking pockets. I have gotten a total of 26 plus 59 pickpockets, which I think is 85. Yeah. 85 pickpockets at 8 XP per pickpocket means 680 of my thieving XP came from actually picking pockets. I have a total of 950 thieving XP, so 950 minus 680 is 270 came from picking this stupid trapdoor, which is the equivalent of getting an extra 33 men, which is not, it's pretty significant. So I don't know if there's other content in the game that's similar to this trapdoor. I don't think it's threatening my rule set or the game mode, and I don't think it's like getting in the way of the integrity of the playthrough, but it is weird because under normal circumstances, I would say, hey, this thing produces XP. You can only interact with it once, but there's so much stuff behind it. Hey, folks, it's time for another tedious Marstead ramble here about the ham trapdoor, or specifically about other content that's similar to the ham trapdoor. So there's a couple things that are like it. There's agility shortcuts and the river lum canoe. There might be other content that I just haven't encountered yet here in the future, but those are 2 things that are similar. So the problem is that there's something behind the ham trapdoor, or behind an agility shortcut, or beyond a river lum canoe shortcut, and interacting with the initial things causes us to gain XP. And if we review the general philosophy for Bonfire Man, there's 4 basic ideas, and the third one is that there should be finite resources and no source of infinite XP within a single cycle. So the problem we're trying to avoid here is we don't need to be able to just take an agility shortcut back and forth over and over to grind agility XP forever, or do the same thing with the ham storeroom, or to do the same thing with the canoe, because the canoe technically gives you some woodcutting XP. We also don't want to just ban shortcut type content. They're interesting, you unlock them for a reason, they make some content a lot more accessible if they're available. And I don't think we want to say that you can only use each shortcut once per cycle, because it defeats the purpose of the shortcut. You can only use it once, right? So here's my compromise solution. Shortcut type content can be used multiple times per cycle, provided that it's being used to access some exhaustible content on the other side of the shortcut. So in other words, I can keep going into the ham storeroom provided I still have ham guards to kill or ham members to pickpocket, but once everything down there is exhausted, I can't keep picking the lock just to try to farm for XP. But this has to be generally pretty forgiving. If we try to make really hard rules on exactly what counts as acceptable or not, this is going to get out of control really fast. There's no hard rules as to how many times I can pick that lock or how many times I can use an agility shortcut. I just need to justify whenever I do it that, oh, I'm trying to get to the frog on the other side of the stepping stone in the lumbered swamp cave. Or I died and now I have to get back to my gravestone, which is on the other side of the shortcut. You know, it gets a little janky there, because what if I die intentionally over and over in order to justifiably cross the shortcut to get back to my gravestone so I can get a little bit of agility XP? I'm just going to try not to do that. You know, the point really here is that we want to make sure that it's not infinite. If we do it this way, it should stay reasonably finite, I think. So I hope that's all cleared up. I do want to bring up something else while we're here, though. I mentioned the River Lum canoe, so speaking of the River Lum canoe, how do we handle chunk rolls and things like boats and teleports, things that are in a chunk that give you direct access to another chunk that's not adjacent to any of your unlocked chunks? There doesn't seem to be a clear consensus on this from Chunkman accounts. Limpwort, for example, requires overland travel only and only allows boats or teleports when there is no overland access to somewhere. So, like, he'll allow it if he needs to get to Karamja, for example, because there's no overland way to access that, but he wouldn't allow it for the canoe or the ferry and the Al-Kharid Palace chunk that goes to Temporos's ruins. So we have to make a decision here. I'm going to go ahead and refer back to the philosophy. There are 4 main philosophy points, and I think number 1 and number 4 are relevant here. Number 1, we want to try to experience as much content as possible. I've said that the objective is to complete every chunk in RuneScape, but that might not actually be mathematically possible. We're just playing the game to see if it is or not. In the meantime, I'd like to see as much of the game as we possibly can, as opposed to just right around Lumbridge, which is what you're seeing from every other chunk account out there. And rule number 4, this is explicitly not an extreme one chunk account, so that's a good reason to make it different from the way Limpwort does things. We still need a specific rule though, because if we just allow all teleports, things start to break down. For example, count check outside Lumbridge will teleport you to the Stronghold of Security exactly 1 time. That means that if, when I unlocked count check, that I allow myself to teleport to the Stronghold of Security, I can go there once, and I can teleport back with Lumbridge Home Teleport, but then I can never go back there because I don't have overland access to it. And in future cycles, I would just have to skip that chunk until I get overland access to it in some way. So I don't think it works to allow any kind of temporary travel. Basically, whenever you get a travel unlock, if it allows unlimited back and forth travel, even if the return travel is using Lumbridge Home Teleport, then it's okay to unlock the distant chunk that travel takes you to. So for example, technically, because I already have access to the Lumbridge Canoe, I should be able to roll the destinations that I can get to with the Lumbridge Canoe. However, if a travel method only allows travel based on a very limited resource, mainly in this case teleport runes, or it's limited in another way like count check, it can't be used for chunk rolls. Now, I could see this changing. For example, charter ships I think are going to be okay. They technically use gold, but by the time you get to charter ships, you probably have enough gold that you can fund regular charter ships back and forth between locations. Similarly, there might be a point somewhere in this playthrough where I have so many law runes that I'm not going to have to worry about running out of them. And then maybe I might, revisit whether my existing teleport spells allow me to get the chunks that I otherwise wouldn't be able to reach overland. So that's the gist of it. This won't actually apply for a little while because past Marstead, I didn't think about this. I didn't even really realize that the canoe was an option. It wasn't until I got to another chunk that had another travel method that I was like, oh yeah, I should probably account for this in some way. So this will be the rule eventually, but you're not going to see like the Champions Guild chunk being allowed or the Barbarian Village chunk being allowed, even though I can technically already make the canoes to get to those. And just to be clear, I'm talking about chunk rolling here. I'm not talking about immediately having access to like the Champions Guild just because I can take the canoe there. If I can take the canoe somewhere, that just means that that is now a legal chunk to roll, so I would still have to roll it to be able to use the travel method to get there. All right, well, that's everything. Thanks for listening to that ramble. Let's get back to the playthrough. I guess what matters, I'm back here picking it again because I died a second ago. What matters is that the total amount of XP I'm going to be getting out of this is like inconsequential in terms of the long-term playthrough, but it does make me concerned if there's something else like this in the future that I don't know about, like some weird agility shortcut or something that I'm going to have to take repeatedly. That might be problematic. Let me know if you think of anything in the game that you think might be a problem. I got a 3 chicken drop from one of these, so I might try to cook it. I guess I also have all these raw rat meats on me. I can try to cook those too. I am saving those, but I don't know that it's worth saving them because I have to make so many trips down here and it's very annoying. I didn't even notice, but I just got my first onion seed drop. That's good. Seed drops are huge because I'm going to be getting most seeds from enemy RNG. I'm very limited in how much I'm allowed to buy. See how much of this rat meat we burn, probably most of it. This is where using a range would be nice to get. Particularly using the cook's assistant range. That's kind of why I'm holding off on cooking stuff. Cooking level 3. Because you get a bit of a success rate boost from doing the Lumbridge Castle range, and I need to make as much as I possibly can out of all of my food, so I can't really risk burning too much stuff. God damn it. I got a third set of ham gloves. Give me something else, game. An iron ore drop. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna be able to get iron ore for a really long time. Here's a 36 strength, so I need one more level now. I might get a max hit boost from superhuman strength? No, I need a 14% prayer boost to get one. And more coal. Very cool. Hey, there's 9 thieving. One more and I can start pickpocketing those farmers. Which I don't think is going to give a significant amount of thieving XP, but the drops might be worth it. I assume that I've never pickpocketed a regular farmer before, but I assume they have some basic seeds available. I got a thread drop, which is kind of cool, because I also got a needle drop. Now, if I roll the Al-Kharid chunk with all the shops, that is moot, because I should be able to buy plenty, even with my shop stock limit. But in case I don't roll it for a long time, I have to double check. I think pretty much everything has to be tanned, which is going to require that I roll the Al-Kharid chunk. Just got a strength potion from the herb guy random event. I'm gonna have to start just burying these big bones. I was trying to deposit all of them, but I don't have space and I don't want to leave for another trip because I only have to kill one more guard. Okay, I just got my 22nd ham guard kill, so I think we're done with this this loop, this cycle, whatever we want to call it. Okie dokie, folks, let's review before I roll a new chunk. Everything's done. Can't do use, can't do ducks, can't do use, can't mine. Can't go in the swamp cave, can't do the water altar, can't get in the other side of that cow pen, can't pickpocket farmers, but I might be able to soon. Can't go in the fire altar, so everything looks done chunk-wise. No more red squares around anything. Reviewing our current bank. It's looking quite nice. Let me drop this filter here. Yeah, money, still not great, but starting to build up a decent number of resources. I went ahead and got my herb tab organized. I have an okay number of seeds, although that could be a little bit better. Lots of stuff from goblins. I can probably start taking this to the general store to sell. I wish I had a crossbow so I could use those bronze bolts. We'll see. Yeah, at some point I'm probably going to take all of this to sell for coins the next time I need to buy something from a shop, potentially a scimitar if we roll Al-Kharid anytime soon. Here's our XP gain for today. Looking pretty decent. Fewer skills this time, but current skill totals. And today's loot haul, minus the handful of enemies in Al-Kharid. Don't think there was anything super amazing. We got our first ever onion seeds. Got a seed dibber. Got lots of clue scrolls so far, but not a single one yet. I guess we had one step we were able to do, then we had to throw it out on the next step, which is unfortunate. So yeah, that's everything. We're not going to end the episode there, though, because this has been a little bit shorter. We'll do 2 chunks this episode, so give me a second to pull up the chunk picker. All right, here's a chunk picker, which looks pretty similar to last time, so I won't repeat everything I said before. I want Al-Kharid the most. 1 in 7 chance isn't amazing, but Al-Kharid would be awesome. I don't want the dual arena, just because there's literally nothing there. It's a dead chunk, but I think if I roll it, I have to go back and do all of these again. And that would be a very boring thing to happen. So pray that I don't get a 5. Yeah, I'd love to do some mining. I'd love to get closer to Varrock. Actually get into Varrock to some extent. Get my pot of flour. Draenor has some interesting unlocks associated with it. I need to figure out how boats work in this playthrough. I haven't thought about that. Because there are charter ships over in Port Sarim, if I eventually make it over here, does that mean I get to include chunks that connect by boat? I think the answer has to be yes, right? Because otherwise, how am I going to get to Brimhaven? But I don't know exactly how to go about doing that. Maybe when we get there, we'll add a few things to roll once we get to charter ships unlocked. But let's go ahead and pick the chunk. No whammies, no 5. Oh, thank God. Okay. So we've got the chunk south of Varrock, it looks like, which is Varrock South Gate, and has some interesting stuff like Dark Wizards. So give me a second, I gotta clear everything out, reset all the object markers and that kind of a thing. I'll be back and we'll go check that out in a few seconds. Hey folks, so a couple seconds passed for you. I ended up taking a full day break yesterday. I edited all of the first episode, finally. I mostly am doing editing in this series by pausing the recording here and there, but the first episode definitely needed to have like some graphics explaining the rules and kind of cut down on my rambling a little bit. That ended up taking quite a bit longer than I was expecting, and a downside to this account, as fun as it is, unlike a lot of RuneScape, it's kind of hard for me to just like find something AFK to do while editing, because I can't sit at the same node for a long time. I can't go and fish or chop oaks or whatever. But it's done, and I think it was probably worth spending the time on it. We're still working on this brand new chunk that we just got unlocked. Right now my gear, I have my leather body and my magic cap, because I'm going to be fighting the dreaded dark wizards outside of Varrock, and they're probably going to kick my ass because there's a lot of them out there. Oh, wait, this is interesting. So I didn't think about this when I unlocked the chunk. Have I unlocked this chunk? I think I can go around this way to get in there, right? Let's go see. I might need to re-roll if I can't fit around that corner. All right, that's funny. I was about to put up a little like technical difficulties sign, but I tested it and it's fine. Hey, we unlocked a new chunk. All right, we arrived at the fog wall. Let's go ahead and walk through it and then actually unlock the chunk. Wonderful. And as always, rest at the bonfire to respawn everything in prior areas. And our only choice for resting at a bonfire is, of course, to spin. Beauty. Okay, new chunk. First thing off the bat, I'm a little nervous about this field of wheat. I went ahead and wrote down all the tasks here, and there are apparently 268 wheat in this field. I'm completely fine to gather those potatoes every single round. I might need to think if I'm going to make a rule for gathering tasks for items that I have no conceivable use for. I mean, I am going to unlock eventually the mill, so I could technically turn all that wheat into flour. And I suppose you could argue that I'm going to need to turn all that wheat into flour because it's a lot of wheat, and I'm not going to be able to buy pots of flour. So if I want to make pies and stuff, that's pretty much going to be my only way to do it. But the idea of getting 286 or 268 wheat every single cycle, I should probably make this decision soon, because it's going to be really bad. Particularly because I don't have a nearer bank to escort this shit to. I'm going to have to take it all the way back to Lumbridge. So that's like 10 trips. So yeah, I'm going to start thinking about that while I tour the rest of this area. All right, so the Dark Wizards, I'm just going to work on these guys right now, since I brought gear here for it, and I'm probably going to die repeatedly and have to try this multiple times. So they hit 4s, and they're extremely accurate. This might be really bad. This might take several trips. I might cook some of my rat meat or something, because this is going to be quite a bit nastier than ham guards. I haven't looked at these guys' loot table. Oh my god, can I kill one of them? Okay, I can kill one of them, thank god. I'm going to need food for this. Staff would be cool. Black robe would be cool. Runes would be amazing. Coins would be nice. They have some decent coin drops. Talismans would be okay. Yep, already dead. All right. I think I should have some food, because it is a horribly long run to get back up there. Okay, so one of the reasons I've been putting off cooking is due to lack of access to a range to kind of maximize my chance of not burning things. Obviously, I'd like this range because it has the best bonus, but I'm not going to be able to get that for a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and bring 20 beef. I wasn't going to use the Al-Kharid range either, because I have to cross that 10 GP gate every time, but there is a range in South Varrock that we've just now unlocked. So I'm going to try to dip in. I'm going to grab my items from the gravestone, dip in Varrock, cook this meat, and then start working on these Dark Wizards. I'm only going to be able to get like a couple kills at a time. Well, there are 2 imps in this chunk, which is more chances for pot of flour. So I'll take it if I see imps on my death runs, since that changes things if I get the drop shears. There are more sheep over here too. It's neat to be able to peek my head into Varrock here. I'm gonna cook all this meat on the range and see how, not starting out great, see how far that gets me against these guys here. Save me a handful of trips. That's level 5 cooking. Gotta start somewhere. All right, level 6 is what I got to. I'm gonna keep bringing meat here each time I die. Once I get to level 7, I think that's what I need for baked potatoes. And I could just do potatoes every single run, and that would actually be, that wouldn't be terrible. Vegetables, baked potato level 7. Okay, fantastic. All right, back to doing the Dark Wizards. Okay, so Dark Wizards have a new problem that I hadn't considered, and that's single combat aggro. This was coming up a little bit with muggers before, or the mugger would aggro me even after I'd already killed it, and I couldn't really fight back to chop trees and the like. Same problem here. The wizards are likely to aggro me. Oops, I didn't mean to chop that tree, but that's fine. Okay, I'm getting absolutely annihilated by these guys. Like, I'm trying to attack a level 7 or whatever, and a level 20 will aggro me in the middle of it. It's level 7 cooking. That is an important cooking level. I'm going to start bringing potatoes with me from now on, since I have so many of them. Man, I am getting slaughtered by these guys. These are my new boss fight. I just don't have the magic defense. They hit me constantly, and they hit me for 5s. I am bringing my baked potatoes this time. I'm going to bring what will become baked potatoes. Part of the problem right now is it's impossible for me to heal. Like, I just... they hit me for 5, I heal for 3, right? And I need to be hitting them to kill them. So I think I just gotta go harder on fighting them. Here's another imp on my way. I'm gonna hope for... Come on, pot of flour. That is burnt bread. Close, but not quite. Right now I'm managing about 1 kill per trip. That's with food. Just because they usually kill me before I get a chance to get the safety to use food. The fact that their range makes them hard too. Thank God there are only 11 of them. But that is neat. Usually the Dark Wizards are, oh my god, I need to run away. Not, let me go into the middle of that and take as much damage as I can. Okay, these are my first ever baked potatoes. Technically I can make butter potatoes, but butter... So I'm only allowed to get 2 buckets of milk per cycle at the moment. And it might be 2 buckets of milk per cycle forever. So that's not a lot of butter. It's not a lot of butter. It does increase the healing on potatoes by quite a lot, so I should try to maximize that and use it for emergencies once I get a high enough level to make those, but means getting my max of 2 buckets. I'm gonna have to do it every single round. Okay, so I can kind of sort of hide behind this stone circle wall to top off on health. Oh god, I've already attacked this one. God, that's such a pain in the ass. So much for hiding to heal. I got all this meat on the ground from my previous deaths. I might need to like hop to drop aggro in situations like this, to be honest. I don't really have too many other options. I can kind of flinch. I just have to be worried about another level 20 walking down the corner and pulling aggro on me. That wasn't flinching, but see, this guy's aggroed on me now, even though I've already killed him. So now I need to go hide and hop to drop aggro and then hop back. I guess I don't have to hop back, but part of the reason I keep wanting to hop back is because I hit a bunch of these guys and didn't finish them off. And now they have lower health totals. And that means I'm getting slightly extra XP. This is that region problem, or that problem I talked about what happens if I attack a unit and then it regions and then I come back and kill it later. Can I technically farm combat XP that way? Well, I'm not doing it to farm intentionally. It's just a reality of my approach here. It's required some suffering, but I have finished off all the level 20s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yes, I did aggro each one individually, and it sucked a lot. The number of times where I would be fighting one, and then I'd retreat behind the wall, and then I'd go out to attack the one I was working on, and it would just, oh god, another one that I had already killed would pull aggro off me. It's too damn high. I'm gonna try to kill this imp. So I only have 4 of the level 7s to go. I just have to hope that I pull them quickly. And I'm dead again. Alright. So I'm going to kill those level 7s. I'm going to hope that it's relatively painless. And then we're gonna leave the Dark Wizards for a while. I might end up trying to make this an end of chunk task instead of beginning of chunk. Obviously, I'm gonna do it at the start here because it's a new chunk and it's interesting. But the higher my combat stats can be each time I do this, the less painful it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna keep swinging baked potatoes out there because those baked potatoes and those meats were the whole reason I was able to stay out there for as long as I did. A whole 3 kills. Jesus. Talking about the fungibility of Dark Wizards, and I think that's part of what makes this playthrough so interesting, that, you know, everything in this game is fungible. Like, every iron ore in the game is fungible. And so you find the one place where you can power mine iron, and all the other locations of iron ore are useless to you, right? You just sit there because it's the most efficient place to be. I don't know how many accounts in the history of RuneScape have killed every individual Dark Wizard here once. If they've ever been in a limited account that's had to farm them for some reason, I'm sure they just found the easiest level 7 that they could repeatedly pull from the corner. So if the objective is to do things that nobody's ever done before, or very few people have done, we are accomplishing that in spades. This is an interesting challenge, especially to have to pull the level 7s in the middle that are surrounded by level 20s. It's really, really hard. I got to use this tree to hide behind. Well, I killed a level 7 and had a level 20 aggro me instantly, so I wasn't able to just get the drop on the ground, but I got a staff, so that's cool. I might actually be able to make some use out of that. Oh my god, I can't tell you how annoying it is to go pull a level 7 and then while I'm attacking it have a 20 just aggro me. This is going to be so much better once my combat level is high enough that the level 20s can't aggro me anymore, but it really shows that I don't think you're intended to be able to kill all of these in this game. Like, that's not what mob patches are intended to be. I suppose it's like we need to support a whole bunch of players here that are farming Dark Wizards, right? This is my last guy. It was the one in the corner. Clear him out here. And I got a second staff. Okay. Dark Wizards complete. I think I've recorded more for just killing the Dark Wizards in this chunk than I did for all of that Al-Kharid chunk. So, content, hooray! I need to look at everything else that's in Lumbridge, but I'm happy to be done with this. Got the pirate random event. What do we? I forget what this even gives. I haven't done basically no random events on my main account. 125 coins. That's a pretty good. I mean, I care about that at the moment. All right, I went ahead and got the 6 cabbages over here. Nettles are going to be interesting. I think for this cycle, I'm going to go ahead and get all the wheat, but I still haven't decided if I have to get all the wheat every cycle. I probably need to make a determination like this because there are a lot of chunks that have big fields like this that are full of useless resources. I might just need to make the determination based on their relationship to experience points, right? Like, if the resources are useless, as in they produce no XP, they're always optional. And we've already been following that rule when it comes to item spawns, right? Like, I only pick up item spawns occasionally if they're actually going to be useful. So I kind of like that idea as a... oh my god, I'm going to have to mark each and every one of these to keep track, which... Hold on. They respawn so fast, it's hard for me to keep track of which one I grab. There's 6 highlighted. I have 6. Item spawns are optional because they don't produce XP directly, right? So I don't necessarily need to exhaust them. I will, when I do my final run on the chunk, I'll have to pick up every last thing. I guess wheat is complicated because it is in fact a source of XP if you turn it into flour and turn the flour into bread or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see how big of a pain this is. It is like at least 10 minutes, or it's 10 trips minimum, right? Every single time. And that's pretty awful, but I'm going to do it now. Got an imp here. Big money. Big money. That's not big money. All right, this is my first full inventory of wheat. Jesus Christ. This sucks. Walking back every time sucks. I guess I could try to maximize doing this in alignment with my Lumbridge teleport, because it certainly helps to have that. Say what you will about wheat sucking, and I will say a lot about wheat sucking, but this looks really cool when I'm gathering it like this. The thing I thought about is the canoe station. Can I use the canoe to speed this up? Who the hell has ever used that canoe? This might actually be a case where the canoe is extremely efficient. I don't remember. I have no idea how it works. Do I need to have a log? I'm gonna Google it. Okay, I have never used a canoe station for anything other than the achievement you get. Like the achievement diary step for using one by Edgeville, I think. I think I can use this. Oh my god, this is amazing because I have both chunks unlocked. This is the greatest thing. If this works the way I expect it to work, I'm honestly insanely pumped for this. Like, this is the dream of this account, I think. Yeah, I think I want to log canoe. I think this might give me some woodcutting XP as well. Float log. Paddle canoe. Champions Guild. Amazing. I'm actually using the canoe, and it is a helpful thing. Okay, I'm so hyped to canoe back. Although, I don't know if I'm allowed to go back, actually. Does this only ever go in one direction? Let me look that up. Alright, so the canoe's not perfect. I've been chopping this for a while. You're not guaranteed to successfully shape the canoe on your first chop. Wow. Yeah, okay, this is a reason to have higher woodcutting, I take it. Back to Lumbridge. Beautiful. Dude, I cannot... I know I was just gushing about this. I can't tell you how pumped I am that I'm using this Waka canoe, like, completely seriously. It's great. Okay, so I have to report a small issue with the Waka canoe, and it's probably something that's another precedent that I'm going to want to establish here. I appreciate y'all's patience with me as I kind of feel out the rule set here. It's impossible to account for everything at the beginning of the playthrough. So here's the problem. Taking the Waka canoe here technically sets me in the chunk over here, even though the entire station is contained within the chunk, and the entire station down here is contained within Lumbridge. I don't like this. This is problematic. I don't have this chunk unlocked. I think it would be silly to say I have to have the entire Champions Guild chunk unlocked in order to use this station, because I can get to the whole station, right? I think I have actually already established precedent on this, and it's that if an asset extends partially into a locked chunk, as long as I'm able to access the asset from my unlocked chunk, it's okay. So you remember there was a tree that was in the sheep pen. Now I have almost the full sheep pen unlocked. But previously I could just barely click a corner of the tree from my unlocked side. So I think that basically means in situations like this where it's like a tile's difference and the majority of the asset, in fact, in this case, the entire asset is in the target chunk, I'm not going to worry about it. But this, I don't like this. It makes me cringe a little bit. Also, look at this beautiful field of wheat. This is actually pretty awesome looking. It's going to be great once it's actually all picked. I'm currently just picking all of it and then marking the object as I run back to the canoe station. I'm hoping to get that plugin up and running where at least I can mark stuff automatically while interacting, because this is pretty tedious to mark everything. But I think it's necessary because it looks really cool to see it all glowing in red like that. So close to being done. I had to do one more trip for these last few wheat. Okay, so I have a ruling on gatherables. All gatherables are optional. So just because it's not an item spawn, it's technically an item that's connected to the ground, like potatoes or cabbages or wheat. I can choose whether I want to do it or not. So that's what I'm going to be doing going forward. I can get this wheat if I want it. If I choose to pass it up, it's gone, just like item spawns. So when I actually come back to complete the chunk, I'm also going to have to do it then as well. But probably on subsequent runs, I am not going to bother with this massive field of wheat. But look how beautiful that is. That only took me, you don't want to know how long that took me. It took me a really long time. Jesus. I guess while I'm here and I have an axe equipped, I'm going to go ahead and chop the trees here. Getting murdered by a dark wizard here while I try to chop a tree back there. I imagine that tree is rarely chopped by low-level accounts. For any account, for that matter. Regular bird nest drop with some seeds. I'll wait to check them to save the inventory space until I get home. Whoops, I accidentally double-clicked that. That's just force of habit. So whenever that happens, I do occasionally make that mistake. I just mark an extra oak. It's the only really way to recover from it at the end of the day. Here's another example of something with regards to the Waka Canoe. An asset that exists in multiple chunks. Because it's poking into my chunk, it's okay for me to interact with it, I think. Every now and then I just gotta pause to reflect how amazing it looks to have everything exhausted like this in red. Even with all the dark wizards and stuff. I've got more to do inside the sheep pen. I'm actually... Okay, there is a way for me to get into it. I was worried for a second I wouldn't be able to enter. So I'm going to continue chopping some trees over here. I probably have to do a banking run. I'll do that first and then come back. It's my first ever bird nest with tree seeds, which is why I bothered to announce it, and it's a pineapple seed, which I can't do shit with. I don't think I realized this. There's technically a master farmer in there. And there's another plugin for me to shut off, by the way, the timer over his head. I'm not going to have the thieving level to be able to pickpocket a master farmer for an extremely long time. I think thieving might be my worst skill on this account. Maybe that in Runecraft. But that'll be nice if I ever do get there. That's a source of seeds. So I only get to pickpocket him once per cycle, but still. Almost done with all the trees in this chunk. Apparently there's a nettles spawn here somewhere. I don't know where. I think I can technically make nettle tea. I'll look up the spawn map if I can't just find it while walking around. But I got a couple more things to check out around here. I got to murder these guards. There's a mugger to kill. Let me pet the dog. I have to try to do that on every single run. I'll add that as a task, even though it's not on the list. Pet dog. Fun. Charlie the Tramp being here is pretty good. Can use that. It means I don't have to automatically drop a bunch of clue steps. So I didn't think about this, but I'm really close to unlocking Aubrey back there. The rune shop. I can only buy out his stock once, but that still represents an enormous amount of runes because I'm able to buy all of his rune packs one time, right? Thousands of runes should be enough to get me a good amount of magic XP. I'm very much looking for it. That's probably my next highest on my wish list. Oh, but it's at a diagonal for me, isn't it? Wait, no, it's directly above me. Okay, so this tile, let me go ahead and add this as an unlockable. Yeah. This tile would be amazing. It also has the Varrock East Bank, so that would help with gathering stuff over in this area. Just having an access to another bank would be amazing. Yeah, I'm low-key hoping we get lucky and get this guy or Al-Kharid so I can get Scimitar. So it would be really nice if I could start Shield of Arav, because if I could get the Phoenix crossbows, I have a bunch of bolts that drop from men and other creatures that I currently can't use, so just having a shit crossbow to burn those bolts on would be amazing. Ooh, while exploring, I note that there's a candle directly north of me here. I mean, this second floor is completely useless. This is why I should always check second floors for item spawns and stuff. That candle would unlock the Lumbered Swamp Cave for me, which I otherwise can't get into right now since I don't have the GP to buy the candle. All right, this is interesting. The task list reflects that there's 10 sheep here, which there are, but several of them don't even have any wool to shear, so I got the ones I'm able to get. I'll mark it complete. So I have to pickpocket eventually. I don't have the level to pickpocket these guys yet, but I also have to murder these guards, and they're like level 21, so probably should have brought my Iron Man armor. I'll fight the one and see how it goes here. These guys have an interesting drop table. They drop body talismans, which I won't be able to use for a while. More interesting seeds, more interesting arrows, and more interesting runes than I'm used to from men NPCs. My first one, I dropped an iron dagger. Alright. Okay, there's supposed to be a man here that I can pickpocket and kill. And there's supposed to be a second imp that I haven't found, so I'm going to look on the map to see if I can find where they are. They probably wandered somewhere and are stuck. Alright, the imp is supposed to be around here somewhere, but I bet it's teleported far from here, so I'm just going to try to hop a bunch to see if I get lucky and bump into it. I'm going to go pick some nettles from this room down here, and I still need to find, there should be a man somewhere here. That's why I couldn't find the man spawn. It's a second floor thing. Found him, you sneaky little sucker. I'm cleaning up this chunk here. These item spawns, all 4 of them are in the Phoenix Gang warehouse, which I can't get into, so that one's not possible. I gotta grab these nettles. I have some gloves. What if there's like 1 nettle spawn over here? Alright, I think we're done with this this chunk. That was 36 minutes of recording. It was significantly more time actually spent. A lot of it was the Dark Wizards and Even with the Waka canoe picking up all that wheat was pretty brutal. But we got everything. We can't chop the yew tree. We can't get the item spawns. We can't slay the weapon master until we do Shield of Arav. Yeah, they were strength 37. I'm going to switch to attack for a while and to get it up to 30. The farmer I was fighting dropped the clue scroll. It's so close. I don't think I can justify holding on to it. I guess it's, yeah, up and diagonal, so it's 2 chunks away. Bummer. Here's the imp I was looking for. I'll always record this. Come on, pot of flour. Big money, let's go. That is a flyer. Just wondering, do I actually want to pick up these eggs every time? And I forget that they're needed for egg potatoes, and I can only get so many per run. So yes, I need to search all the coops and pick up all the eggs on the ground. I will do that. Another beginner clue from a cow this time. Cannot go to Shantae Pass. Keep rolling them like right outside the chunk I'm in. I just hit 15 prayer from burying a bone. So we're doing okay on combat. I should actually care about combat levels. I want to be out of aggro range of the Dark Wizards, which I think is like 42, so we got a ways to go there. I just finished gathering potatoes, so I decided to swing up with my last batch, not quite a full inventory, and try to cook them for ham guards and maybe for big frogs. So I don't want to do too much cooking until I have cook's assistant in the Lumbridge range, but or also a bank that's closer, because I don't have an axe with me, so I gotta walk all the way back after this. Standing here on my way back is quite magical. I can see all these trees, all the wheat, and starting to make out all the potatoes I just finished up. Hey, I just got an air talisman from a goblin. I'm surprised that this is my first air talisman. Like, I've had so many opportunities to get one. That was goblin kill number 368 that dropped it? Good lord. I'm experimenting with changing the marker color from red to black here. Just because it's a little bit easier on the eyes. Like, I'm staring at a sea of red a lot of the time. I still think it makes things that are dealt with stand out pretty clearly, but it's a little bit less sharp. So let me know how you feel about that. I'm recording these episodes on a bit of a backlog, so people are like, bring back the red. I will certainly do it, but it might be a few episodes out before I do. Yeah, I think this black is way easier on the eyes now that it's starting to get really dense how much of it's on the screen at a time, so I'm going to stick with it, but I am open to changing it if people really like the red for some reason. About to hit 30 hit points. Any second now. There it is. 30 hit points. No! 2 XP left! Ah, god damn it. Hold on, I'll get it off this guy. This is what I get for trying to start recording early on these level ups. That's why I always miss them. Doesn't actually matter. It's nice to have the little pop-up in the corner of the screen, but there it is. 30 hit points. Wonderful. This isn't great. Servers appear to be down. Hasn't happened in a while. Hopefully this doesn't reset all my markers. If it does, I do have a break glass in case of emergency option, and that is to look at my loot tracker, current session data, and compare it to the task list, and just only get whatever I was missing, right? Even if that means tagging. It might mean that I'm going to end up killing an NPC that I already killed before. Obviously, this is not ideal, but I'd rather not just say that the server crashing is game over for the account, right? Servers are back up. It looks like I kept my monster tags, so back at it. So it occurs to me that the situation with ducks is problematic, because technically I could use runes on them, which seems like a waste of runes. I actually don't have that many runes. I guess if I burn through those runes on this cycle as opposed to several cycles ago, it doesn't really make a difference because I would still be out of runes, right? And no longer able to kill ducks. So I think I'm going to quickly get my bronze arrows together and whatever runes I have and try to murder as many ducks as I can and just be sad at the waste of resources. Yeah, I only have enough runes for 27 casts of Windstrike, so I'm probably going to run out of runes just on ducks here. Oh yeah, this is slow going. Alright, well, at least I'll use up the runes. I need to do that anyway. So now's the time to do it. My magic level is super low and I can't really hit higher than a 1. Oh my god, this duck regenerated a hit point. It's so punishing right now. And amount of runes got me to level 3. Definitely not going to be able to even kill the ducks in Lumbridge. It's got a 9 mind room drop from one of the men in Al-Kharid that's actually huge. Holy crap, I got Thieving 10. Because there were a number of men that were wandering in outside of... that guy looks like might also wander over here. They're wandering outside the chunk boundaries, so just barely squeezed out Thieving 10. I think that was the last pickpocketable NPC. That means I can now pickpocket farmers. I think I have 4 of those to pickpocket. Might actually be 3. I think there's one that wanders into Varrock Southgate, and then there are 3 in the Groat's Farm area. So I will do that soon. Just got 25 attack on the 1 rat over here. It's kind of funny. All right, we're done with North Al-Kharid. I think I'm going to go steal from these farmers. All right, this is exciting. First ever pickpocket on a farmer. What do we get? Oh, that sucks. They just give you coin pouches? I guess it's 3 times as many coins. I was hoping to get some kind of like shitty seeds. Oh well. Oh man, I haven't been back here since switching from red to black. Black definitely makes that field of wheat look different. Just hit woodcutting 37. Nothing on the horizon for woodcutting, but 37. There's woodcutting 38. I'm almost done with woodcutting. Not as a skill, like in these chunks. Beginner clue scroll. Charlie the Tramp. Ooh, I think almost every Charlie step is bad. Because I think almost every Charlie step... This is tough. Let me look up what his steps are, because I think all of them are going to require me to like have access to leather, which I don't have, or to salmon, which I don't have, or to trout, which I don't have. So if I literally can't do any of them, I'll drop the clue scroll. The wiki was lagging really bad there. It finally came through. I can't do any of the Charlie the Tramp steps right now. Maybe when I get higher fishing or more zones unlocked. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop those for now. I think this swamp is presently one of my least favorite chunks just because the little frogs are so annoying. They're like strictly worse than goblins in every way. They have more health, they don't drop anything. But I'm done. They're, you know, everything's marked. I grab these gloves, go bank, and then it's time to head over to the ham hideout. I'm gonna double check and make sure I got all the goblins in that chunk. I'm pretty sure I did, but I haven't done a sanity check. I gotta show off this chunk every time. This this is the dream of this mode. I like it in black now. I think I'm gonna keep the black. Go ahead and tell me if you really want the red, but I think the black looks nice. The land has been withered. Okie dokie, goblins are done. Gonna close out with ham guards as always. Probably should start closing out with ham guards and dark wizards instead of doing dark wizards immediately. They were extremely rough. Just got a steel dagger from one of these guys. I think it's definitely worse, right? But like its max hit is 2 lower, but it's also so much faster. Bet I can do the math on that. Maybe find like a DPS calculator or something. I just got hit points 31. Okay, according to the DPS calculator, the steel dagger is better. Marginally better, but better. And I also would prefer to attack more often because just knowing that it's better justifies it, because then I'm getting more rolls, right? So I'm having less swingy combat on the whole, I think. We do want to use stab, though, because it has a better stab bonus. And I don't really need strength at the moment. It's a pretty big difference in accuracy. It's like 4% less accurate than the Myth Battle Axe, but the extra attack speed makes the difference all day. It's a lucky drop. What's the drop rate on that? I've killed a lot of these ham guards and never got a steel dagger before. Actually got 2 in a row while I was down here, because of course I did. Yeah, those are the only 2 I've gotten. And it's a 1 in 55, so I was under rate for it. It's pretty awesome. I wasn't expecting that. Ooh, ham boots. Nice. Finally getting more ham pieces. I guess I didn't even notice that they had steel daggers on their drop table, and it didn't occur to me that they might be better than the Myth Battle Axe, but I think they are even on my highest defense target at the moment, which is these guys. Having the baked potatoes has been amazing here. I can't believe I was doing this without food for so long. It's enough that I can probably just do it all in one trip, finally. Fuck yeah. Ham cape. Finally got a cape. Unfortunately, I have to dress like the racists. It'd be nice if the silly pink costume wasn't associated with these fuckers, but still, it's cool to have a cape. It actually has stats on it too, yeah, so that'll just be a thing that I'm wearing all the time now. For probably a pretty long time. Oh, that's the rarest drop too. That's a 1 in 110. Oh, god damn it, I died. I was so close to doing that in a single run. Pack 30 just dinged. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna go to defense now for just a little bit. Try to get defense to 30. It might improve my survivability a bit. I'm guessing the reason those dark wizards are fucking me up so bad is because my magic level is so abysmally low, so hopefully it would be really nice to unlock that Aubrey chunk so I can buy some runes and just train up magic. I think that's my last one. Yep, 22 ham guards. All done. Got to mark this guy. Looking good. Feeling pretty great. I'm gonna head back to the castle and we'll roll our next chunk. Let's kind of summarize. I think I want to do this at the end of every episode, at the end of every chunk, to review the tasks that are red and just confirm that we're okay with them being red. Can't get these item spawns because I'm not in the Phoenix gang. Can't cut a yew tree. Not in the Phoenix gang. Don't have runecraft. I tried to kill some ducks. Never gonna be able to kill all those ducks. I feel like I'll continue to think on ducks. Maybe we'll have a treatise on ducks in a future episode, but I think it's bad that I have to dump all of my arrows into ducks every single time, and because the arrows don't get left on the ground, so I can't recover them. And they don't drop anything, and there's a bunch of other creatures similar to ducks that you can't even attack, like swans. But anyway, we'll talk about it later. I can't get into the cow pen yet in Grote's farm. This is unfortunate because this is likely going to be one of the first chunks that I complete where I've done everything. But this is a chunk that I'm always going to want to do. Like, I'm always going to want to kill all the chickens, all the cows. I guess it'll be nice to be able to avoid the goblin, the two goblins. I'm always going to want to pick up all the potatoes. Yeah, that's possible. That's the worst possible chunk to complete because I'm going to likely 100% it every time regardless. Still can't mine anything. Still can't go in the swamp cave. I technically have enough GP right now that I could buy that candle for 1,000 GP, but that seems like a horrible waste of 1,000 GP. If we're trying to use money to unlock as much progress as possible, I'm going to wait until I can get a candle somewhere else. Ham hideout's all done. Can't chop yews. Can't get into the ham storeroom. And Lumbridge Castle, I did as many ducks as I could. I can't chop yews, and we can't do any quests still. As soon as I qualify to be able to do a quest, I will report right away. Here are the XP gains for the episode, including a teensy little bit of defense at the very end. Overall, looking pretty decent. Total levels down here, total level 242. Looking pretty good for combat. I'm combat level 34, so still have a ways to go until the Dark Wizards will stop being aggressive. Here's our nice sanity check, current session data to confirm that I'm not cheating. You could compare this along with my music unlocks to show that I haven't stuck to other chunks or done some kills that I wasn't supposed to. 78 goblin kills is right on the money. We got some extra farmer kills because some of them are... Well, first of all, there's 3 pickpockets and 4 bones because there's an extra farmer that wandered into Varrock that I was able to get but not able to find again to pickpocket. Imps still haven't gotten our flower. I guess we got 2 air talismans finally after all this time, but not really getting amazing drops from most things here. I did get another copper ore from Men. Once I can get to 10, that's actually going to be useful. And of course, the most exciting drops of the day were the ham cloak and the steel dagger. My cat is going to destroy my computer. Hold on one second. Stuff like this steel dagger drop, honestly incredible. Like, something I didn't really think about in terms of the value of this game mode are things like that drop, things like this cloak, and things like eventually the pot of flour from imps if I don't get a pot of flour by other means. Because it would be so trivial in any other game mode to just find one imp and farm it over and over until I got the drop, but now I only have so many kills, so if it happens, it's way more exciting. It's not just like, oh, I gotta grind longer. It's like, no, that's that's as much as I was allowed to do, you know?
Reviewing the total loot tab, this is from the entire playthrough so far, so these numbers should also roughly make sense. 439 goblin kills, not even 1,000 GP from them yet, getting close to it. 98 ham guards. Got a bunch of cool stuff from ham guards, actually. 76 men. And I pickpocketed them the right number of times, yeah? Oh yeah, that tracks separately. 76, 76. 32 women, yep. Cows, cow calves, imps, dark wizards from today. Extremely neat. Oh, I guess real quick before the chunk roller, here's the bank. You can see the high alc NG price at the top. Nothing really crazy in here, but it's neat to keep track of. Okie dokie, here's the chunk roller. Let's try to summarize. I think I've already said a lot of this. 5 would be amazing. Tons of shops in there. The Aubrey store alone would be huge. Massive. Would love to get this Varrock chunk. 4 would also be amazing. I can get a Mithril Scimitar. I can start doing crafting. Lots of good stuff there. I wouldn't mind being able to mine, finally, with either 3, 6, or 2. I think 7 is kind of a dead chunk, sadly. Like, I think if I roll 7, that's effectively going to be like this toll gate that I'll go in there and do the... there might be there might be more trees there than I'm expecting. And I guess there's some mining there too, so it's not completely dead. 8 is pots of flour and the windmill. So that's letting me finish Cook's Assistant, which I'm pretty pumped about. I would love to get Draenor. I'm not particularly excited about this Lumberge Swamp tile, but I will take the mining patch that's down there. And the Duel Arena would be a dead chunk. So chunks I don't want are Duel Arena or River Lum, but anything else would be rad. So without further ado, here we go. I think I have the regular chunk picker here. Son of a bitch. Oh, that's a bummer. What a bummer. Well, at least it's out of the way now. I think this is one of the most useless tiles on the entire map. Regarding the activity info, I can look at this to see whether quests are completable. I think I can even, show whether they're completable or not. So these are quests I can start. These are quests that I can complete. I can't actually complete Cook's Assistant because I don't have a pot of flour. But I'm going to try to check that after every unlock, and as soon as I see one of them switch to green, we're going to try to do that quest as soon as possible. Thanks, folks, for watching. Next episode's probably going to have 2 chunks because the Duel Arena has nothing in it. And then we'll get another, hopefully more interesting roll. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.